Our lesson today is titled On Knowing Your Idols. This and a number of the coming lessons are from the book Strong in the Face of Tribulation, the Church and Communion. These are sermons of the Holy Fathers from last year during the beginning of the coronavirus. Some of them I used last year, transposed on the day that they were given. Some I have used over the summer and the fall when the appropriate scriptures were used. This one was originally done on 26 March 2020 with exactly these same scriptures. In the first reading, there is the scene of the mutiny of the people. Moses went to the mount to receive the law. God gave it to him in stone, written by his own hand. But the people were bored and flocked around Aaron and said, "But this Moses, it's been some time that we don't know where he is and where he has gone, and we are without a leader. Give us a God who helps us to go forward." And Aaron, who would later be a priest of God, but there he was, a priest of stupid things, of idols, said, "But yes, give me all your gold and silver you have." And they gave him everything, and he made that golden calf. In the psalm, we heard God lament. They fashioned a calf at Horeb and worshipped an image of a metal, exchanging the God who was their glory for the image of a bull that eats grass. And here, in this moment, at the beginning of the reading, the Lord spoke to Moses. "Go down now, because your people, whom you brought out of Egypt, have apostatized. They have been quick to leave the way I've marked out for them. They have made themselves a calf of molten metal, and have worshipped it, and offered it sacrifice. 'Here is your God, Israel,' they have cried, 'who brought you up from the land of Egypt.'" A true apostasy. From the living God to adultery. They did not have the patience to await Moses' return. They wanted novelty. They wanted something, a liturgical show, something. I would like to point out a few things about this. First of all, this idolatrous nostalgia of the people. In this case, they thought of the idols of Egypt, but the nostalgia to return to the idols, to return to the worst, not to know how to wait for the living God. This nostalgia is an illness, and it is also ours. One begins to walk enthusiastically towards freedom, but then the complaints begin. "But yes, this is a difficult moment, the desert. I am thirsty. I want water. I want meat. But in Egypt we ate onions, good things, and here there aren't any." Idolatry is always selective. It makes one think of the good things it gives, but it does not let you see the bad things. In this case, they thought about how they were at the table with these meals that were so good, that they liked so much, but they forgot that it was the table of slavery. Idolatry is so selective. Then another thing. Idolatry makes you lose everything. Aaron, to make the calf, asked them all to give them their gold and silver. But this was the gold and silver that the Lord had given them when he said to them, "Ask the Egyptians to lend you gold." And then they went away with the gold. It is a gift from the Lord, and with the Lord's gift, they make an idol. But this is very bad. But this mechanism also happens to us. When we do things that lead us to idolatry, we become attached to things that distance us from God. We make another God with the gifts that the Lord has given us, with our intelligence, with our will, with our love, and with our heart. We use God's very gifts to make idols. Yes, some of you may say, "But I don't have any idols at home. I have the crucifix, an image of Our Lady, which are not idols." No, not in your heart. And the question that we must ask today is, what is the idol you have hidden in your heart? What is that hidden escape where you feel good and where you distance yourself from the living God? For we also have an attitude with idolatry that is very cunning. We know how to hide the idols, just like Rachel did when she fled from her father, and she hid them in the camel's saddle and among the clothes. We too have concealed many idols among the clothing of our hearts. The question I would like to ask today is, what is your idol? That idol is worldliness. Idolatry also reaches piety, because they wanted the golden calf not for a circus, no, but for worship. They bowed down before it. Idolatry leads you to a mistaken religiosity. Rather, very often worldliness, which is idolatry, makes you change the celebration of a sacrament into a worldly party. For example, let's imagine a wedding celebration. You don't know if it's a sacrament in which the newlyweds truly give everything and love each other before God and promise to be faithful before God and receive the grace of God, or if it's a fashion show of how this and that and the other are dressed. Worldliness. It is idolatry. This is an example, because idolatry does not stop. It always increases. The question I would like to ask all of us today is this: what are your idols? Each one has his or her own. So, what are yours? Where do you hide them? Women, men, it's quite often in your purse or in your pocket. One of the most common idols today cell phones, electronics. I have spoken of this before. But what else do you have? May the Lord not find us at the end of our lives and say to us, "You apostatized. You deviated from the way that I marked out for you. You prostrated yourself before an idol." Let us ask the Lord for the grace of recognizing our own idols. And if we cannot banish them, at least to keep them in a corner, out of sight.